Good morning. You guys doing all right today? How are those rough drafts coming? I hope you've gotten some really good work done on them. I've been getting lots of good questions. Keep them coming. I'm happy to help with any issues that you might be running into, okay? Just shoot me an email or a message on Edmodo and I'll try to answer as quickly as possible. Before we get any further, I wanted to talk just a little bit about the schedule that we have coming up. So if we go to Edmodo and look at the planner, actually I have to get myself out of the way first. If we go over here and look at the planner, we'll see that it's still relatively empty. Oh, no, I did get that done yesterday. I'd forgotten. Okay, so you have your rough draft that's going to be due tomorrow, but not till the end of the day. I'm posting your Frankenstein annotations, and I'll go over that with you guys here in just a second. That won't be due to the end of the day on Friday, okay? Now, here's where we need to make some changes. Let's look into next week. This is when your research paper's due, right here on Thursday. And if you remember from when we were in class, we were supposed to have a Gothic literature test right here on this Monday. We're going to move that a little bit, okay? We need to change that up just a little bit because the schedule has gotten a little bit crazy, and I want to make that, later in the week. That gives you a little bit more time for reading those books, your self-selected books, because I know we've had just a couple of issues with that as well. So here's what I'm going to do. I don't think I have very many, but I feel like there have been enough students who were having a hard time getting a hold of the book that they chose to read. So today I'm going to look for some online or some PDF versions of some Gothic novels that you could read instead. All right, now these are liable to be older, but that means they'll be shorter, so maybe that's a good trade-off, okay? So be looking for that list in case you still have that Gothic novel to read, and we'll back up that Gothic test later on next week. It'll still just be about Dracula and Frankenstein and then the book that you're reading on your own, okay? So I just wanted to point that out so you guys weren't kind of freaking out about that part. We're going to do revising and stuff in there. I'll post those checklists later on this week. And so we'll have time to do that as well. Okay, so what am I posting today? All right, well, let's take a look together real quick. So I have 3 chapters for you from Frankenstein, and I formatted it a little differently so you would have room to type in your annotations since we're doing everything electronically now, which makes the document kind of long. So if you do want to print it so that you can annotate with all your colored pencils and highlighters and so forth, that's totally fine. You just might want to reformat it again so that it doesn't print 11 pages because I know that's a lot. I really designed it this way so that we could still do our annotations but do them electronically. And I've done them this way before for like when I want to save my annotations and use them maybe for the next school year. I'll do them like this. I don't know if you guys remember how I used to kind of post those annotations on the wall and you could check your annotations against mine. So I've done them electronically. They're really not that hard and they still allow you to use the different colors and stuff for those of us who like that, visual. One of the ways I do it is just by using the highlighter tool that's up here in the toolbar up here. And as I was reading, I'm looking for things that are making the monster different from the human beings. And I noticed this sentence in the very first paragraph here that the creature remembers too well the treatment he had suffered the night before from the barbarous villagers. Okay, so I don't really have a lot of context because we don't have chapter 11, but I know that something horrible happened in the chapter before. And when I go on reading, I notice that he's like hiding. He's quiet. He's sitting, he's remaining quietly in there in his hovel, and he's just watching these people from afar. So I just add in a few of my little notes. That's kind of how I usually do my annotations. And then I go through and, you know, I mark what I want to mark, and then I type what I want to type over there. There's other ways you can do it. Like instead of marking it with a highlighter, I could have, oopsie. Let me see here. Let me get rid of it. I could have just said, I could have done this and just changed to a different color. That's kind of cool because it gives you more color options, and that if I wanted to, I could even match my annotations over here so that they're in the same color as well. I think that's how I did the Wanderer in the Anglo-Saxon unit. So that's an option. One thing I tried yesterday, it just wasn't super successful. Maybe if I make my text a little bit bigger, I can do it better. But like, there's a place where you, right here, you can click draw. See it right here? And then I click this button that says draw, and it lets me pick which pen. So I'm going to pick that pen. That's probably, I'll make it a little thicker. Blue is fine. Okay. And then you go to the text and you can draw. Well, I don't have a stylus, so like I have to use my finger. They have, you know, they have a delightful house, every luxury, a fire to warm them, viands, which must be food. They dressed in excellent clothes. They enjoyed each other. Okay, so I can do it that way, but it just kind of gets too sloppy for me. So I don't like that. If I had a stylus, I probably would like it because I like it to be a little bit more hands-on. So maybe I need to look into getting one of those. All right, so what are you annotating? Like, what is it that you're underlining and taking notes on? Well, I have these text-dependent questions that will take you all the way through the passage and tell you what you're looking for. These are the things that I want you to notice about these 3 chapters in Frankenstein. They really go with that writing that you did in class last week. What is a monster? What's a definition of a monster? What does that really mean versus what does it mean to be human? Because one of the things I want you to kind of consider for yourself is who in the story is the most human or the most like a monster? Is the creature a monster? The way he feels he is, the way he's treated, and what characteristics of the creature fit that definition of a monster and which don't. Okay, so this takes you all the way through. And it even gives you the page numbers. Hopefully the page numbers are correct. If they're not 100% exact, or if you change your font in some way, then they definitely won't be exact. But they are pretty well in order and divided by chapter, so really shouldn't matter. You should be able to get at that. So use these text-dependent questions to read and annotate the passage that I have provided. Okay, and you have until the end of the day, Friday, to work on that. I just wanted to go ahead and post it today just to give you guys a break from that rough draft for a little bit. You know, I still want you working, but sometimes it's a good idea to step away from your writing and then revisit it later. So, you know, it might not hurt to kind of work on the Frankenstein passage today for something a little bit different, and then wrap up your rough draft later. All right, so if you have any questions throughout the day, let me know, because I will be online answering questions. And if I get the same question quite a bit, I may post another video with some extra instruction. Hopefully you noticed that I did that yesterday with writing introductions. So you just be looking for that. You never know when something like that might pop up. All right, you guys, enjoy day 3. And I hope to get to visit with you guys online very soon. Bye.